Kenyatta University on matters to do with nutrition, dietetics, and food security. Dr. Betty Samburu has previously served at various capacities in both public and private sector as a deputy head of nutrition and head of programs in Kenya within the health sector. She is a research coordinator in the Ministry of Health, a nutrition and early childhood development specialist at the United Nations, abbreviated as UN. She is an experienced research scientist with high capability to design, conduct, implement research, and generate evidence for policy formulation and programming. Dr. Betty Samburu has authored and co-authored over 12 papers in international journals. She has represented Kenya in over 15 countries. That is Canada, Scotland, Mexico, Indonesia, Geneva, Switzerland, just but to mention a few. She has passionately participated in women and youth empowerment programs at the grassroots, including fighting harmful practices like female genital mutilation within her community and mentorship of students in schools. Dr. Betty Samburu is passionate about changing lives of women and children. In education and professional arena, Dr. Betty is serving as a chair and a BO member in several institutions. She has served as a secretary and chairperson of the Courier Professional Association of Kenya since 2017 to 2022. And taking that into control, I humbly and very respectfully want to invite our keynote speaker, Dr. Betty Samburu. Feel welcome and appreciated. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be part of this conference so that we can share some of the works and activities that we have done previously. And I will be talking about some kind of techniques that we have used to conduct some researches in quite a number of counties. We have used these techniques in Kericho, in the Unilever tea farm, and the impact that it had was very, very amazing. We have also used this technology to conduct research in Kajiado County, where we were conducting research regarding food security, and I will be sharing this method. The reason why I thought about sharing this technique of using photo voice and digital camera is because of the impact that I have seen it having. You have just heard that one time I went to Canada during the Women Deliver Conference. It was in 2019 when we had Women Deliver Conference in Canada. I remember even our president, then His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, was one of the members in that conference. And actually, the impact that I saw this, it is more of a stepwise where we can use this methodology to generate evidence that will even enable us to plan, design, research so that we can be able to get the really life experience. So as they project, I want to see by a show of hands how many have used the photo voice in research in this room. Oh, none. Okay. Is it opening, or I can use my laptop? Is this skull okay, or we can change it to black? Okay. So the theme of this conference, refocusing science, technology, and innovations to sustainable research in dynamics ecosystem. I want basically to talk about photo voice, digital storytelling, and the use of photography and video recording, best practices and ethical consideration. This methodology, in part 1, I want to talk about the photo voice methods, background and theory. What is it? What is this photo voice and digital storytelling? And I will give examples on how we have used it and the impact it has had in one of the, in actually 2 counties which I mentioned, that is in Kajiado and in Kericho. Then I will give some ethical considerations and best practices. So what is this photo voice? Photo voice is a participatory, visual, qualitative research methodology where participants are given cameras and asked to take photos that represent their lives. They take the photos by themselves, they are trained, and it represents their perception of given issues or topics that are of interest to that particular researcher. So we give participants cameras, whether they are community women or men, they take photos, they also record videos, and they tell. They can then share these pictures. In the process of sharing, they discuss about the pictures and what those pictures mean to them. And they also discuss what the photos represent to them. Next. So, the photo voice enable people to act as catalysts of change in their own communities. They also elicit social justice and change. It also allows researchers to see through the eye of those who are often marginalized. Most of the time when we go to do research, we imagine that we are the ones who knows, and we can research, whether it is through focus group discussion or in-depth interviews we conduct, and we imagine, oh, this is what we have gotten. But when you give that responsibilities to the members themselves, they imagine or they perceive what is happening in their community, they record themselves, they take photos of what they imagine is the situation in their community, then it really incites their mind to think and change and even go for better options, and also use the same to really engage the policymakers or whoever they might think is the relevant person to address them. Then it gives participants an opportunity to capture the conditions around them, reflect on these conditions, voice their problems, and come up with solutions through creative stories. When these people take the photos, then they start coming up with creative stories around their situations, and they develop strategies to reach the various audiences which they think will address their problems, because through this photo voice, the pictures taken, they will now imagine who will sort this issue of ours. At the government level, who is this? At community level, what can we be able to do to sort these problems that we have? So, one example I want to use is a study we conducted in Kajiado called Voices for Action, which was a public engagement on vulnerability and solutions to food and nutrition security in the Maasai community. We used this methodology, and we were able to engage the community members, the Maasai community, and they really talked about what they perceived or what was the situation regarding food insecurity in their community. Next. So when we used this photo voice, the purpose was to get the people's lived experiences and exacerbating factors that led to vulnerability in food security. What are our own lived experiences that lead to food insecurity? We also